Hello, everybody. My name is Trish Place. I'm a member here at Saint Micheal Lutheran Church, and I'm on the Worship and Arts Committee. This year, we decided for Lent, we would like the congregation to participate in a project for Lent. And we are using rocks this year. This is just a little river rock. We have a bag of these. We were talking about Lent, and we were talking about Christ being the rock of our foundation. Also, if you remember in the Bible, there's a large rock that is rolled away from Jesus' tomb before we find him risen from the dead. So we're going to be using these rocks for a project. One of the projects that I found, and I really like this, it's called rock wrapping. And it uses different materials to do different designs on rocks. This is called a basket weave, and you see that I made a cross on there. Let me show you a few others that I've done. This is also the basket weave, but I have put what I call the crown of thorns in there. I can't tell you what this design is, but I was just inspired to do it. Here's another cross. Instead of the basket weave being in the front, we just have a cord wrapped around there. And this one, I'm not sure what that one is called either, but I found it online. You can go on YouTube and you can search all different kinds of projects. Just look for rock wrapping. As we do this here at church, we will have these materials out, and today I am going to demonstrate how to do a basket weave cross, just using your basic household string and a needle. I want to make sure that that tail is there. This can be tucked in later on, but you really, really need to make sure that that is secure. And these rocks being round, sometimes it's a little tough. You know, it may take you a couple of tries to get this to stay in place. But you notice as I'm wrapping this, I'm doing the string side by side, not overlapping. So you want a really nice flat wrap like this. Today, I think I'll just do a 3-string type of thing. And then this is when your needle comes in. Okay, so now we've gone one direction. Now we need to go to the other direction. So in order to secure this, because now we've got a loose tail here, I'm going to tuck it under these strings. And a little later on, I might do a basket weave on that also. And I will explain that in just a minute. So here we go. All right, so that's going to be a little bit more secured, not completely yet, but I will show you how to do that. Now we're going to go back the other way, and we're going to do a basket weave. So I'm going to use my non-dominant hand. I'm going to take my needle, and you don't want to pierce the string in the middle, but what you want to do is weave it like this, okay? Pull it through. And this time you're going to want to make sure that you pull this pretty tight, find a spot on your rock where it's going to secure down like that. Flip your rock over. And now you can do a little bit of a basket weave through these 3 strings, and that's going to keep it fairly secure also. So I'm just going to weave it through, go under, over, and under, pull it through, and that's going to really start securing your string in place. And you'll find out as you're going along doing this, you do need to kind of take your fingernail or the needle, you know, and really tighten up those strings a bit. Now I'm going to come back to the front of my rock, and you can see that here I've got an under and over and an under. Now I'm going to do just the opposite. So I'm going to do over, under, and over. Pull that string through so it's nice and tight. And you'll find out as you're going along, you need to adjust this a little bit to scooch it in place. And you can see that this is spread apart a little bit. So I'm going to take my needle, scooch it over. You can also take a fingernail and do that. I'm going to go to the back of the rock, and I'm going to do the basket weave back here. Again, doing the opposite of what I had done prior to that. Pull it through, scooch it over so it's nice and tight. And now I'm going to do my last weave over here. So this time it's over, under, over. So now I'm going to go under, over, and under. Pull this tight. So now, if you can see the front of this, we have our basic design like so. Okay, make sure everything's pretty tight. And again, you might need to adjust this a little bit. It takes a little coordination. Now I'm going to go back here, do a basket weave one more time to secure all of this. And pull it through. And then you can weave it through a couple more times in the back here, just to make sure that it's pretty secure. You can even go across, however you want to keep this in place. All right, this is just to really tighten it up. Once you are done with that, then you can cut off the string and it can be tucked under. You've got this little tail left, so you'll need to rethread your string. I didn't leave this long enough, silly me, but you'll need to tuck that under also. So there you have your basic basket weave cross. So that's pretty easy. The other thing that you can do to this, if you would like to, you can do what I call the crown of thorns right here. That's pretty easy. That's taking a piece of red string. Again, getting it onto your needle. That's the tricky part. And then what you do, it's the same thing as the basket weave. Leave a little tail end. But what I do is I essentially do the opposite of what I just did with the white string basket weave. So if the basket weave with the white string is over, under, over, then I do the under, over, under, and just pull it really tight. This is kind of a Celtic cross design also. Celtic crosses always have a circular design in the middle of the crosses. And back in the ancient days, the Celts did that to intertwine nature with God, because God is all around us. He is in nature. Okay, and then when you come back to this, again, do just the opposite. So this one, I started off and it was an over, under, over. So now I'm going to do under, over, under. And I go around about 3 times with this. And again, each time that you're doing this, be sure to make it kind of tight around there. And the nice thing about these needles is they're pretty blunt, so you're not going to poke yourself with them, and you're not going to necessarily have a lot of problems. But if you notice, sometimes when I'm doing this, I'm going in through the side, lifting up the string going to make one more round of this. That's where I left off. This is a really good project. I really, when I was doing this, I was just kind of sitting in my living room, sort of halfway listening or watching the television. And just do whatever you want to with these things. There is no wrong way exactly, unless your string starts slipping off. That's the only wrong, if you will. Other than that, it's just, it's a really good meditative type of experience to do. Okay, there we go. So now that I have all of that put in there, I'm going to make sure that I have this tightened up the way I want to. Then I can just take my needle, slip under absolutely everything under here, give it a little bit of a trim, and go back with this other tail. And this is why it's important to get the tails long enough so you've got a little bit that you can work with and then trim off. And I'm going to tuck this little guy right under here also. Okay, so here we have now a cross with crown of thorns or a Celtic circle on there. All right, so have fun with this project. Be creative. There are many designs that you can do. You can invent anything you want. You do not have to do any of the rocks that I have done here. These are for examples. We'll have some other materials up there. This is a cotton hemp type of thread, so you can add beads to your project if you would like to, or buttons. You may bring some items if you would like to, but have fun with it. Research it a little bit on YouTube if you would like to, but do whatever the Spirit calls you to do. This is a meditative type of project, and we're just asking that you take a moment, take a deep breath, and just be creative and have fun. God bless you during this Lenten season, and we'll see you at Saint Micheal Lutheran Church.